All right, welcome to this week's edition of the Sixers Stock Report. Stock up, stock down, presented by our good friends from
Bagels & Co. You can get huge Brooklyn-style bagels right here in Philadelphia. 30 different flavors of cream cheese, 15 to 20 types of bagels, premium coffee at an affordable price. I feel like a used car salesman constantly pointing here, but I'm selling a much better product. Guys,
you could be here too.
If you want the best Brooklyn-style bagels made right here in Philadelphia, head to www.thebagelsandco.com/store-locator to find the closest Bagels & Co. near you.
And you know how we do it. Stock up, stock down. We're going around the league today, but we're going to start off with the Philadelphia 76ers because, of course, big news on Tuesday night with the Philadelphia 76ers and the league MVP, the reigning league MVP, Joel Embiid returning after his 29-game absence. Back on the floor, Sixers get a very good win over the Oklahoma City Thunder at home, and we have to go and start off and begin with the big fella, stock up, stock down for Joel Embiid.
Come on. I mean, look. Never let perfect be the enemy of good, right? Is how I would frame his first game back. Wasn't at his complete best. Didn't have the best game conditioning we've ever seen from him. But as far as what he could control, as far as what you could expect after 2 months off, and maybe even more importantly, from what you felt, what you saw, what you heard being in that building last night, I know Derek certainly felt that as well. The energy in that building was just so much different. Having Joel back, like the energy before the game, the energy mid-game as they're rallying, they're going on runs. Like they've had some good games, some eventful nights without him, but none of them were close to yesterday. And that's a game where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams sat out of the game, were injured. So you would think, oh man, who really cares about this game? That's the level of importance Joel has to the fan base, to the city, to the team. And oh, by the way, he still ended up having, 24, 6, and 7, and 3 steals, and made the most important defensive play of the game, is ramping it up in that final 5-6 minutes to help get them across the finish line. So it might not be perfect. It might not be the guy who was challenging Wilt, challenging all-time greats with the stats and everything else in the middle of this season, but it was damn good and stock way up for me.
Was anybody really expecting Joe to be Wilt after spending too much months on the bench?
Not, because your expectations are way too high.
No, I mean, it is like we spent 2 months watching Mo Bamba every night. Not every night, but most nights. The fact that Joel Embiid was a little bit rusty, that's okay because I thought he moved pretty well. I thought he made an imprint on the game as you would expect. And if he can come in here and looks like he's in pretty good shape, he will get that win back pretty quickly. But he was moving. Just the way he was changing direction was better than I expected. And yeah, maybe didn't last long. Like 2 minutes into his 4-minute stint at the first quarter, he looked like he was starting to get a little bit winded, but that's okay. That will come. I think that will come back pretty quickly because he looks like he's in pretty good shape physically. And like I said, he was just moving lighter on his feet than I was expecting. I think that went better than I expected. And quite frankly, he could have come out and shot like 3 for 14 for 12 points, and I would have given him a stock up just because he's back on the basketball court, and it looks like we are gearing up for a playoff run. So for him to come back out and not only be on the court, but look pretty good doing it, huge stock up.
All right, stock up, stock down. Let's go to the West Coast. Check in with our old friend. We just saw him with the Los Angeles Clippers, and he did not speak after they lost in Los Angeles on that Sunday to the media. But he did speak to the media after he beat the Sixers by 1 point.
Surprised he got booed.
Here in Philadelphia. Surprised that he got booed. Wasn't sure. He said he didn't think the fans know why they were booing.
I think the actual quote was he wasn't surprised he got booed, but he doesn't know why.
Come on, dude. Come on. James Harden.
I mean, for that matter, I'm looking at you, Derek, down there. You have the correct
James
sign
Harden
that we need to put up.
Of the Los Angeles Clippers. Last 10 games. 11.7 points per game, 36% from the field, 35 minutes of play, and also shooting 27.8% from the three-point line. James Harden, stock down?
Yeah, and the Clippers are 5-5 in those 10 games, too. They've been struggling a little bit here of late. including one pretty bad loss to the Sixers and one other game that they should have lost and that they were quite frankly outplayed for most of the night. They have been struggling down the stretch, and Harden has been sort of at the center of that. I think Harden looked better. Like if we had been doing stock up, stock down on James Harden for the entire season, I think up until the last 2 or 3 weeks, he was probably looking better than many of us expected. That Clippers team and that offense was looking better than many of us expected. But they've hit some tough times here. Of late, he has struggled as much as anyone. Kawhi has had to, I don't know if he made your top 5 in MVP voting, but he was certainly right on the cusp of it for a lot of people because he is carrying that team because the other 2 players have been pretty inconsistent here as of late.
He did not make it, but
he would have been 6 or 7 for me.
I definitely considered him. I think this recent stretch turned me off of that idea. So it's the problem that James Harden was dealing with while he was here, right? In these last couple of years. When you can't consistently get to the rim and you're not generating free throws the way you used to and can't finish in traffic, if you can't make threes, what would you say you do here as a scorer? Like that's what he has to do to produce most of his scoring value, and that's not there. And that's not to say that's all of James Harden's value, especially on that team, right? Like they need him to be similar to Philadelphia, the table setter, the playmaker, the guy who keeps everyone involved, who creates open shots for different people, et cetera. And that's all well and good. That's fine. I do want to focus a little more on like what a lame move that was to, the first game you're playing against the Sixers, there's going to be a big media contingent. People want to ask you about it. They come into what is now your house without Joel, and they humble you and your team, and you tuck tail and run away. And then the second you squeak out a win in dubious fashion, by the way, because of the officiating, oh, well, now it's time to have our Festivus airing of grievances and speak with the media. Like, on some level,
got a lot of problems with you people.
Come on, man. Like, on one level, I at least appreciate that while he was in Philadelphia, where there's certainly a bigger contingent of Philadelphia media than would have been at the Clippers game in LA, he still talked, and that's good. Far fewer people are traveling out to LA that would have wanted to talk to him. I get it. But it just comes off as so lame, man, to no show. Like, and it wasn't even from what I saw. Granted, I was on vacation, so I'm playing catch up on all of this. It seemed like he was out of the locker room and gone before reporters even got there.
That's what the report was.
It was not like he was there and was like, no, I'm not talking. He was so either embarrassed or mad or whatever that he's like, get me the hell out of here. Got in the shower, got his, I'm sure, ridiculous outfit that he probably wore that day on, and he got the hell out of there.
Yeah, the report was before Ty Lue even sat down for his press conference, James Harden was gone.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so that's how that went. James Harden, no bagel for you.
I don't do violations, but that's a violation.
No bagel for you, James Harden. Let's stay in the West. Stock up, stock down. For the winners, 38-37. They've won 8 of their last 10. And they have been spearheaded by a young player in this league. The really good play that he has had as of late since Alperen Şengün has gone down. Jalen Green played really well, but I'm talking specifically about the team that is trying to make a push there. It's kind of late, but stock up, stock down for the Houston Rockets and how they have played over their last 10 games. And again, try to throw a little monkey wrench in the playoff picture.
I mean, first of all, stock up for Tari Eason pissing off Draymond Green, because I would say I was a historic Draymond respecter. He just irritates the hell out of me. I don't know if you saw what I forget. What was it? He did the Warriors come out and play. And Draymond was like, you didn't even play in the game, and was like giving him shit. I still enjoyed it. So stock up for that. But look, I'm not super shocked. Obviously, Şengün is awesome and a huge piece of that team. But Udoka has, in many ways, and getting Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks in there helping instill more of a defensive culture there between the coach and those 2 guys and the young guys growing up a little bit. They're a team that has different ways to win. And frankly, if I'm being honest, I would prefer to see a team like them make the playoffs than have to hear about the Lakers and Warriors, who are both just like I hate to be the media should do this or do more of this or less of that. But the coverage of the Lakers and Warriors is just exhausting. And they're just not that good. There's a reason they're at where they're at. They have largely been healthy most of the year, both those teams, at least the important guys for those teams. They're just not very good. And so I would rather see a young upstart team. I think Jalen Green, this run that he's been on recently, is actually a nice redemption story for him. There are a lot of people giving up on him, and it's not to say he's a future star or anything necessarily, but a guy who's starting to figure things out, who's taken on this bigger role as one of their focal point players, has gone down. That's a great story, a good basketball story within the league. So not saying I'm openly rooting for them, but it's been a fun late push for them at the end of the year.
Yeah, they just came off that 11-game winning streak. They had the second-ranked offense in the league since March 7th, I believe it was, when that winning streak started, and they're doing almost all of that. I think Şengün played maybe 2 or 3 of those 11 games.
Yep.
So they've been doing a lot of that without their focal point offensively, and a guy who really drove a lot of their offense. They have done it on both ends of the floor. I think they're top 10 in both offense and defense over that stretch. To see a young team buy in defensively, Kyle mentioned obviously there were some big offseason additions that are helping drive that and set that culture, but they've got bought in pretty much up and down that roster. That is a real good story, I agree.
3 games back of the Warriors for the 10th spot in the play-in tournament right now with the 38-37 record, and 4.5 games back right now of the Los Angeles Lakers. And as Kyle said, just too much coverage for
stock down on both
specifically the Lakers.
Stupid teams.
Yeah, see, I enjoy talking and watching the Warriors still. I just enjoy watching them play basketball.
I think it's just the Draymond thing.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
Draymond,
this
I'm 100% with
stuff I
him.
love.
And the
like,
Lakers part, it's just overdone, man.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Because LeBron James is there? Yeah, come on. They're not good.
Yeah.
They're just not a good basketball team. So come on, stock up for the Houston Rockets. Coverage for the Lakers and the Warriors. Stock down. Just stock down.
Is there something more dramatic than down? Like, is there? Anyway,
Beneath the surface.
moving on. We talked about them too much for my liking.
All right, stock up, stock down. This will probably be our final one. Women's college basketball, because of the way the tournament has been played with the coverage for the Iowa LSU game and then the Connecticut USC game that followed with Juju Watkins facing off against Paige Beckers, Angel Reese against Caitlin Clark. And on that night, the LSU and Iowa game broke a record of viewership on that Monday night. I was one of them. I know my guys here and Bree also were also tuned into that game. It was a fantastic game. And the fact that they are getting the attention that is deserved for the basketball that they play and the style and the way in which they play, which is very good. Stock up, stock down? I'm going stock up. So
Easy.
is Kyle.
Easy. And I will say this. I saw a great tweet. I was sitting with Fox Sports' Yaron Weitzman before the Thunder game. And he pulled up a tweet that was like, interpersonal rivalries, a big feature piece on the horrible head coach of one of the teams. This is the sport I love. Basketball is so back, baby. And it's like, it's been cool to see. A lot of this, frankly, is due to Caitlin Clark, the media coverage she has gotten individually and people dialing in on her. But then the domino effect of that is people paying more attention to these other great players in the sport, the interpersonal rivalries, right? Like, that's part of what people love about basketball generally, or like I would say in my circle, the NBA. It's not just, hey, I show up and I root for my team, use my pom-poms for the Sixers. It's, look, LeBron's got a personal rivalry with this guy, or LeBron is chasing Kobe Bryant, or like these are Michael Jordan, or these other great players. And this guy went in free agency to this team. Like, LSU got some big name transfers coming into the year after beating Iowa last year. And so now
cooked.
there's the whole ecosystem is getting a lot more attention, and everyone's eyes are on what does Caitlin Clark do next, both within this tournament, but also the big picture. Like, she's getting offers from Ice Cube and the Big Three, which I'm not gonna say anything mean about Ice Cube on the show or the Big Three, but Caitlin Clark's name is out there, and it has brought a lot of attention. I think good attention to the sport. It's been cool, and she's just amazing to watch play. So.
Yeah, and I feel like women's college basketball is something where over the last decade, there have been a pretty steady progression of eyes on the sport. And this is sort of like the apex of that. And, this does very much feel like a Steph situation where it's like all of a sudden people's eyes are completely open now and you're curious to see where it goes and excited where it goes in the future. But that matchup specifically, there's so much drama, so many people talking about it. The viewership record, Devon mentioned, 12.3 million people watching that. It's just great for the sport, not just of women's basketball, but basketball in general. And it's been a really great tournament all around. Really has.
By the way, Angel Reese reported that she has declared for the WNBA draft, so she's leaving LSU after her few years in college basketball, winning a national championship last season. Caitlin Clark, of course, already declared. Probably will be the top pick for the Indiana Fever.
No, probably.
No worries there. And then you have, what else? You have Paige Beckers, again, back after the ACL that she suffered last season. It's a shame because AZ Fudd, and she tears her ACL this season. She can't play. Yeah. That sucks, but Connecticut's still on their run. They move on to the Final Four. Juju Watkins breaks the freshman scoring record that was up for a while there, and she's fantastic. They're all getting their NIL deals. She's in a commercial with Joel Embiid for AT&T. All that cool stuff. It's just
get paid, young lady. We'd love to see that.
Fantastic. And with it, wouldn't it have been perfect if the WNBA did add these expansion teams? Philadelphia got a team where maybe you can get one of those top talents to be there and we can watch them in the summer.
It's crazy.
I mean, come on.
Should have gotten one the year that Caitlin Clark was going to declare and get that free #1 pick.
That's what I'm saying. Get the expansion team up top, bring it to Philadelphia. Would have been great. Yeah. Man.
What's Josh? Do something useful, Josh Harris. Come on.
Come on.
Here, make that part of the pitch for the new arena.
Yeah. She could play right in that new arena. By the way, when we go to Vegas for the Summer League, I want to go to an Aces game. I need it.
I just need there. We're gonna have some time to, we'll do the shows, but we're gonna have plenty of idle time.
Yeah, gotta go to an Aces
You
game.
might have to pull me off the craps table, but
well, and that might have to be where we go to the theater too together.
Very true.
It's a type of theater, basketball. I've heard.
Very true. Yeah. But no, it's great to see women's college basketball getting the attention that they deserve. The Final Four is gonna be fun as well, as Caitlin Clark and Iowa take on Connecticut, and Paige Beckers in South Carolina, Dawn Staley are in there also. It's been fun, as always, here with you for our weekly Sixers stock report presented by the great people from Bagels & Co. And James Harden does not get a bagel.
Yeah, so big thank you to the good peeps at Bagels & Co. Guys, said it already. Go to www.thebagelsandco.com/store-locator to find the closest Bagels & Co. near you. We love those guys. Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you next week.
We all silly like the mayor.